Hey, what is good, y'all? Welcome to the first ever episode of Chamomile.
And combo.
The Connection Podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Woohoo!
sir. There we go. Um, we're gonna start off introducing ourselves, of course. My name is Sai,
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Jeremy.
and we're gonna be your hosts. We're gonna take you through this journey. Before we get there, though, I think we need to tell the folks about the show.
Absolutely.
I think so.
So
For
do you
those
want to?
Yeah, go
There
ahead.
you go.
ahead.
No, you got it, Olivia.
No.
we're so excited, you all. So we were all over the place. We're just so excited for this show. But take the lead, Olivia.
Yeah, no. Jeremy, Sai, and I go way back. We've done a lot of different shows together that none of you have ever heard of, but are in our hearts. And we just wanted to create another show and about connection, about community, and connecting people with resources, and just feel like there's something positive being sent your way whenever you feel like listening. That's the gist of what I think. What about you guys?
Absolutely.
That's a great description. For me, I think also I like to label it as cognitive stimulation, or at least that's what I want.
You want
This
people
podcast
thinking.
to do. I want people to think. I want people to leave this podcast with something. If they leave an episode, I want them to learn something that they wouldn't have known, prior to listening to the episode. So, yeah, we're gonna get into the topic of this episode in a little bit, but I'm gonna come back to this point. It is very important to cognitively stimulate your brain. Well, I guess that's redundant saying cognitive, but
No, I get what you're saying, because sometimes I feel like, especially, I'll just sit and digest nothing on my phone, like I'll just scroll, I'll doom scroll, and I
Right.
will have learned nothing, but so no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. What makes me just so excited about this is that, throughout life, I've realized, just how important it is for humans to be connected to one another, and at the same time realizing how interconnected we actually are, and that is revealed throughout conversations and the tremendous support that we give each other, and how naturally it occurs, and how much it impacts us overall. And yeah, I just so look forward to this episode and all the future episodes to come. I'm so excited, you all.
Yeah, we're really excited. I'm excited first off to have my two really good friends here. I think we've always had really good conversations. Obviously, none of you guys know. I think you will find out soon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That would be hard to find for sure.
I still have a lot of those recordings though, so maybe they come out one day.
Okay.
One day.
That'll be amazing. That'll be so amazing. I guess we could start out by just pretty much just giving the audience and the listeners and viewers an understanding of what human connection is. So according to U.S. Berkeley Executive Ed, human connection is essential for survival, health, and well-being, as humans are biologically wired for social interaction to regulate stress and emotions, and it improves immune function, boosts longevity, reduces risk of depression, anxiety, dementia, and provides a sense of belonging. Quality relationships enhance resilience and act as a buffer against life's difficulties. And again, that source is U.S. Berkeley Exec Ed. What do y'all think about that? Sai, Olivia?
I think that encapsulates what this episode is going to be about. which is human connection. So thank you for that beautiful definition, and I think everything about it is 100% true. I feel like all of us have experienced isolation at some point. I won't mention the dark ages, but and you could tell those that didn't have a community, including myself at times, just like going stir crazy, so yeah, I believe it's 100% necessary, and there's many studies that prove without human connection or that feeling of loneliness and isolation lead to decline mentally and physically. So.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you said, Jeremy, it's I think we tend to maybe think about loneliness or think about connection socially, but like you said, it has more of an effect on you, even like biologically, physically, mentally, and all of these ways that you mentioned. What I was saying earlier with the cognitive stimulation, it comes back to having meaningful connections with people, with your friends, your family, whatever it is, because this is separate to just connection, but being cognitively stimulated actually decreases your risk at Alzheimer's, and this is further proven with like human connection, having those connections, having those relationships where you are stimulated, where you are being intentional and interactive with your senses, I think is very important.
And you want to know something even more interesting I was reading about? It's not just about like being and doing. There's a study done by the Institute of Aging by the University of Wisconsin. I think it was led by Anna Finley and Stacy Schaefer, that resulted in even just feeling like social isolation, like even just feeling lonely could result in those declines. So even if there were a ton, like somebody had a community around them, but they still felt isolated, it leads to that same decline. So it's even more important that you choose it and you put effort into making those healthy relationships where you feel seen and you are cognitively stimulated.
Right. I think that's where intentionality comes in, because it's one thing to just be around people. Like you could have, you could be living with family, you could be going out seeing friends, but if you tend to feel like you're not really being understood by the people around you, you're not having the conversations that you want to have, or maybe those people aren't the best at really getting to the core of who you are. Maybe you're not doing so well, but they don't have the ability to understand you or have those conversations. It makes it really easy to still feel lonely, even though you're still around people.
What's a time that you all have kind of felt loneliness but took a hold of it and created connection instead?
Ooh, I would say it's the time where it's probably the time when I lost my dad. Me and him was very, 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 very close, and I think with losing him, it put me in a really lonely place, and I spent a lot of time being indoors and not going anywhere, because right. I was dealing with depression and stuff like that at the time. But I realized, just by past experience of friends that I've known who have had, experiences that may have been similar or vice versa, that staying in was going to just make the situation worse. And knowing that, just having that awareness is what inspired me to go out. And even though I was down and alone and lonely, things of that nature, me connecting with people and talking to friends and things of that nature kind of enabled me to captivate hope. And that hope is what pushed me towards motivation of, getting myself together, seeking help, and understanding it's a process that may have impacted me, but if I don't try to exercise my mind and seek help, then it's just going to only make things worse. And I have a lot of life in front of me. So just knowing all those things is something that kind of helped me. And, just having that thought and knowledge of what could have happened if I didn't get out when I was inside is what inspired me to go outside, to go, to leave the house and go out and, socialize. And then long term, it was a great benefit, and it helped me. I got help. I had a good support system, and then I was able to move forward and carry on. And on a positive note, accomplish and do the things that my father would have wanted me to do. So that's my feedback on that, Olivia. That's what kind of helped me when I was in that situation. What about you, Sai?
No, I think that's beautiful. I feel like when we're at our lowest is exactly when we need connection the most. It would make sense in a time like that to lock yourself in. But yeah, in the long run, and even in the short run, I feel like going out, seeing your friends, seeing your family, that's kind of when you need it the most. So I'm glad to hear that you had that. So I just wanted to say that first.
No problem. Thanks.
But I guess for me, it might be a very relatable or a pretty common answers during the COVID period, probably those 2 years, to 2020 to 2021-ish, when I think we were all physically disconnected from people.
Right.
I think, it was definitely difficult going from, even before then, I wouldn't say I was too much of a social person, but just not even, going out to see any of your friends, or not even going to class. Because, when we're students, we get a lot of social connections or interactions through going to school. So when that's taken away, it really, to me, that's when I really realized the importance of connection. And I guess for me, I was doing, I was trying to be more intentional about just talking to my friends, calling my friends, whatever it was, to still stay connected however I could.
I really think that's the key when it comes to building your community, being connected to others, is the intentionality of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know for myself, I move pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really difficult because I have a great community, but kind of like what you were saying, Sai, I'm physically just unable to meet them in person, and it can feel lonely seeing everybody messaging each other in our group chats and in our Discords and not being able to participate. And I realized, why am I not just calling people? If I'm feeling lonely, I should just reach out, because your community is there for you.
Right.
And they care about you, especially the communities we're a part of, because we intentionally have invested time and relationship and energy into it, and there's genuine connection. So what would you guys say to people that might be struggling with those, what would the first step be for somebody that might be struggling in making a genuine connection or building a community?
Well, I would say one of the first things to do is to accept, for example, let's say if you're, you wanted to make more connection with people, is to be honest with yourself and say, hey, okay, I want to make connections, accept that thought process, and then begin to take action and the effort into doing that. One of the first steps could be, creating a social media account. But if you already have a social media account, make a few posts about, hey, meetups that you're looking to meet new people, let people know, the reason behind it, that, you just want to make connections and you want to build, relationships, things of that nature, to put yourself out there, because there are so many people who are maybe shy, who just need some type of motivation or someone to make the first move, and they'll see a post and they're like, oh, there's other people who want to connect. And so that can be one step. And then once you meet up with one or two people, lay out what it is that you would like to do long term, that you would like to build a community of helping people who deal with poverty or whatever the case may be. And there's nothing wrong with having people with different skill sets or different goals, as long as it's still involved with human connectivity. So I would just say, just starting by posting stuff on social media, and just trying to put in the effort to make it be aware to the public that you want to make connections, because there are a lot of other people who would love to be connected with someone.
Right.
I think
Absolutely.
Sometimes too, it's like, it's okay to feel uncomfortable at first because you're going through a growth spurt.
Yeah.
In building your community, you're going from 1 to maybe 2 or 3 or 4. So it's okay to have that initial anxiety, or like, I don't know if this is like good,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what do you think, Sai?
No, I agree with what both of y'all have said. I would also say, I think it starts internal, in the sense that you have to like yourself first. I think there's a tendency, I mean, it's pretty human for people to think about how they're being perceived, and to try to fit into molds, to get into certain pockets. Like, oh, if I want to be friends with this person, maybe I can't let them know that I'm into this thing that I really like. Like, some people are really ashamed of things that they like because they think they won't fit in.
Right.
So my advice would be, like the things that you like, and like yourself for liking the things that you like. That way I think it builds confidence in yourself before you even go out meeting people. And I'd say, like, shared spaces are very important. Like, if you're in school, that's where you're going to meet the most people, with a wide variety of viewpoints and interests. Like, that's where you'll meet the most people in your life. But let's say you are out of school, and I think this is also pretty common for people who are out of school to feel really lonely, because that's just the nature of things. Once you're out in the real world, or out in the workforce, the people you really know are your coworkers and maybe the few friends that you still have. I'd say there's still shared spaces out there. There's still, there's organizations, there's clubs. If you're religious, there's a lot of faith-based organizations. There's so many things that brings people of similar interests together. I would say exploring those spaces and going out, like putting yourself out there to go and make new connections is the key. If you're in a space where you feel really lonely and you want to make new connections.
Yeah, totally agree. And one thing that you had mentioned, size, about like a lot of people, they have to have confidence in themselves, and believe in themselves and things of that nature. And one thing I think about as you were speaking is, encouragement, being self-encouraged, having the courage to deal with your fears and try to build a foundation and strengthen weaknesses that you may have, or try to get some courage and self-confidence, and heighten your self-esteem, because a lot of people are shy or just don't have that confidence, and it could be because of past life experiences or not having people like genuine friends. For example, someone may express what they're going through with someone that they trust, and they may get a reaction or a response that shatters shatters their confidence, and they lose trust in others, and then it kind of puts them in their shell because of a past experience. So but it's all about, like you mentioned, taking those risks, building yourself back up, and knowing that at the same time that there are others who are very friendly and waiting for opportunity to connect with someone. And I think we underestimate that.
I think people sometimes put too much pressure on themselves. Like, the classic, if you're gonna give a speech in front of a crowd, you just imagine them without their pants on or something, and you can take it less seriously.
Right.
I think part of that, like the reality of that exercise, I think, is nobody is perfect. Like, we all have our awkwardness and our flaws, and we accept people outside of us, so why can't we accept ourselves in that as well?
Absolutely.
So just remember that people like you. So why sometimes it's a good exercise is to, like, I don't know, step outside of yourself and really view yourself as a friend to you. And
Absolutely.
like, what do you like about yourself? How would you treat yourself well? And reflect it on others.
Right.
Absolutely.
Another thing is, I forget where I heard this, but someone said the way you view yourself is how you treat other people. If you're a really confident person, you're really secure, or mostly secure, because no one's perfectly secure, I think. But if you're a mostly secure person, you tend to treat others with that same respect. But if you don't respect yourself, it's hard to do that with other people.
Yeah. And one thing I thought about too, if you look at people who are now very successful, whether if it's family members, friends, loved ones, or just people in general in society, if you listen to their stories, each of those individuals was motivated or had someone that was there who motivated them, encouraged them, or that believed in them even when they didn't, in such a way where it brought their true selves out, because sometimes we need someone to kind of look up to or seek out as like a mentor or whatever the case may be. But I'm just breaking it down and summarizing and saying this is that we all need each other, and I think that's what's so unique about us doing this podcast and having the basis and foundation as human connection, because that's what it's about, connecting with someone or a group of people and being able to help each other grow. And you never know, one word, one conversation, one greeting can be just enough fuel to inspire and motivate a person to be the best version of themselves. So that's something I just wanted to put out there for the listeners, because I know a lot of people feel that they can just take on the world by themselves, and I'm not doubting it, but I think it's wise to realize that even the most successful people today, they had someone who either said something to them or that they listened to, and the person may have been younger than them, you know, but they was willing to listen and kind of get some information. They took that information, applied it, and now they are making progress in their life, and they're living a very happy life, taking care of their health, and at the same time mentoring and teaching others and inspiring others. So what do you both just think about that in general? And is there anyone that you know personally or someone that each of you can name that is a prime example of kind of like what I just shared?
I'm thinking about somebody that could be a prime example, because I know I've worked with many people that has been their story, where they didn't really have a support system at home, or they had terrible experiences growing up and really shaped them to have terrible self-worth, and just one mentor in their life being enough to put them back on a path of actually enjoying life and enjoying themselves more. And it's kind of like utilizing that positive psychology of looking at life a little more in a positive manner, so that you could reshape how you view everyday situations. Like, I knew one person that, like, they would just always say that they couldn't have a good day, and I started talking to them about, you know, you can't let one thing in your day be your focal, like one negative thing be the focal point of your whole day. You have to think about all of and linger on the positive things that happen that are way greater than a bad experience, or just just poor timing, or, you know. And it really did help them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about you, Sai?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this earlier. I think we have a tendency to really overthink everything that's negative in our life, you know, starting with our days, to just, maybe we don't like our job, maybe we don't like a certain class we're in, maybe it could be something very small to something very big. And I think naturally we're inclined to think that way, but I think if we train ourselves to also overthink the positive things, or the good things that are happening to us, or maybe even thinking about positive potential, right? Like, you could call it manifestation, but thinking about something in the future where you go, that would be really good. Like, I really want that. That would be really good. And I'm looking forward to that. Even if that doesn't happen, I think having those positive thoughts can really affect how you go about your day.
Absolutely. And, you know, to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, you know, overthinking things, one thing that can, and, you know, inspire us in a negative light of overthinking things is, I guess, social media. Sometimes we can be on social media way too much, and we can see several positive posts, and then one post we can look at that could be the opposite. We can focus on it and then end up looking up what was said, and now the next thing you know, we are down this path of all the chaos or whatever is happening, and it kind of overrides all the good things that we have. And we have to remind ourselves that even though things are going on in the world, we can't control those things, but one thing we can control is ourselves. And it goes back to what you're saying. So, like, you know, we could overthink things and things of that nature, but I think it's very important for us to be grateful and have gratitude towards what we currently have. And that's something that I've really been, kind of thinking about as of late. And that alone has been keeping me personally like balanced and keeping a good foundation under myself, is just being grateful for what I have.
Right. And it's interesting you bring up social media. I think it's definitely widespread now. Everyone uses it. But I was reading this article, I think it was from the Erie Institute of Technology, where they said Gen Z is actually trying to get offline more so than ever.
Really?
Yeah. It's
wow.
I think it's because people are starting to value authenticity.
Yeah.
Like because what you see on the internet or social media, it's not the full picture. It's not the truth. And if you're following any influencer, they're gonna give you the good stuff in their lives. They're gonna really polish it to make their life seem so much better than yours. Or you'll just see some really horrendous stuff on there. There's really no in between.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is why
there's
think
some good cooking videos.
There's obviously a lot of good stuff. But I guess getting offline in the sense that making connections outside of social media, I think is a good tool to maybe keep your connections, or like I send reels to Olivia all the time.
Yeah. They're great. You go back and forth.
Right. But having that balance of still having a real relationship or a real connection outside is what people are starting to value a lot more, I think.
Absolutely.
It's interesting too, because I also read, I wish I remembered where, I'll have to look it up and drop it in our resources below. But I also read that Gen Z leads in like basically kind of consumerism on social media. Like there's a lot of product discovery that
Yep.
Gen Z does, and whereas Gen X and millennials do use it as a means to connect. So I find that so interesting that it's like, because there are a lot of studies also that talk about Gen Z wanting genuine connections. So I think it makes total sense.
Right. Maybe
and I've seen it play out with my own family too, like kind of be like, I'm done with social media for a while.
Right.
And then they come back, but
Right. Maybe it's just the way, because I think we're the generation that grew up with social media, whereas like the millennials, they grew up and then they had social media, and like Gen Alpha, social media was already big when they popped out. So I think for us, we kind of grew with those platforms where we discovered a lot of new things along with it. And maybe for us, it wasn't as much about connection. It was like, oh, this is like a really cool new thing where you can do all these different things, right? Like as
exactly,
Instagram, Twitter, whatever got more, like they upgrade over time to where you have like Facebook Marketplace now, all these things. You have paid influencers who do promotions.
It's gotten to a point now.
It's gotten to a point now where it's they're all selling things, and we're moving further away from that connection aspect that was originally intended, maybe.
I think also it plays into the overthinking of, like, I don't know, one thing I know I do is as soon as I, like, the meme that's like, go touch grass is so real sometimes, because I'll be scrolling on Instagram, or I'll just be overthinking in my head, just not feeling great. Like Jeremy, what you were mentioning about, you'll just go down a rabbit hole and you're like, well, this didn't serve any purpose, and now my soul has not been fed. It's been like and you just have to switch it up and go hang out with friends, or talk, call your family, or do something that feeds your soul.
Right. I think another thing is literally touching grass. Like if you go out and you feel the sun, that is physically just gonna make you feel better. And obviously, doing it with your friends, your family, whatever, like having that connection, you'll instantly just feel better from whatever was keeping you down. And yeah, social media can definitely keep you down if you're not intentional. I think
Yeah.
that's another thing is if you're doom scrolling, you'll eventually find something that'll just ruin your day.
Yeah.
Um, but if you're intentional, you can get in and get out
Yeah.
before that happens.
Absolutely. And then it's all about moderation too.
Right.
And for the listeners, we're not saying don't be on social media. We're not
No.
saying that at all.
No.
What we're saying is we're giving you perspective on both sides, but when it all boils down to it, you just want to have self-control and do anything within moderation. Just don't become obsessed and don't get in a situation where you're very obsessed with what you're looking into and are engaging in social media excessively or whatever the case may be, because too much of anything can cause a negative impact, so just do things in moderation, put things in perspective, and realize that you're in control of your what you feed yourself mentally, psychologically, and that you have to just get to a point where you can say, hey, all right, this is a little too much, let me step away for a while, let me go outside, let me watch some television, to kind of balance things out, because that's something that I had to do and myself personally, and it has helped me immensely, just having self-control, doing things out of moderation, and putting things in perspective.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's that self-awareness key. I'm a person that believes good can come out of anything. We all use social media here.
Right.
We can't,
Right. Yeah.
Right.
but we
Yeah.
know our limit, and we know how to mentally check ourselves when we're not feeling quite right, or if like it's time to focus on another hobby.
Right. Right. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, like I said earlier, I think being intentional about why you use social media is also pretty important. Like, it is absolutely a great way to stay connected with your people. I can't deny that. And it is a great way to just take a break from everything else.
Right.
So I think if you're intentional about that, I think you really minimize the negative effects of it. And yeah, everything, it goes back to the connection for me too, is like, yes, it is a great way to connect, but also offline connection, like, it's 10 times better.
Yeah, you
so-
can't maintain in that way,
Right.
And
So yeah.
and you'll find a lot of genuine and more authentic interactions and conversations when you're in the presence of someone and
Right.
when you're out. I mean, there's been times, don't get me wrong, realistically you can have those same connections online, but I've noticed just overall more people have connected with others much more in depth when having that physical contact, handshake, hug, or just sitting down, being in the presence of that person and just talking to them and things of that nature. It's just much more organic that way. As far as the research tells it, and just in general, we know the difference, just like talking on the phone versus texting. There's a different connection that you have when you're having that conversation on the phone. There's more that can be said, and there's more that can be felt through that, through that conversation on the phone versus just a text message. So
Right.
that's just something I want to to kind of put out there as well.
Yeah.
Listeners.
Do
Absolutely.
not be afraid of the phone. Like a
Right.
phone call.
Yes.
Because I know growing up, I was like, I despise phone calls. I'm like, nobody ever cold call me. And now that, I've been at that time, I was pretty much seeing my friends and community every day, hours upon hours. So, but now that I'm living in like another place and stuff, I'm like, yes, please cold call me. I will respond. And it is like, I'll Snapchat my friends back and forth. We'll send reels. We'll message on Discord. But whenever I just light up when I get that cold call, just someone driving home from work and being like, hey, I wanted to catch up, or hey, I was thinking about you, or and like me doing the same to them, it really just is the best.
Yeah.
It does make it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, it's also a part of growing up is you realize you don't have as much time anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, you don't see your people. Like I'm still in the place I was before, and I still don't see my people as often as I used to. At least I don't have that excuse. But which is why I think it's really important. Like I try to be intentional about connecting with and calling my people to keep that connection, because it's hard to keep the connection because we change all the time. We grow, we change, and if you don't keep in touch with someone and you call them 2-3 years later, that's a completely different person.
Yeah. Sometimes you can pick up right where you left off.
Sometimes you can. So
if you haven't contacted that person,
right,
like you should contact them right now and be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, you absolutely should. But I think it's also really important to
be
really
aware.
be aware, stay connected with your friends. You don't have to wait. You don't have to let time go by for that connection to rekindle. I'd say just keep at it. And I was actually this reminds me of something I read. It's called the FIT model, where it's kind of like an exercise for connection. It stands for frequency, intensity, time, and type. So this is where everything that I've said about intentionality comes in, where you think about how frequently do you want to connect with someone. Like how intense of a connection do you want? Do you want a 5-minute conversation? Do you want to hang out with them for the entire night? And the time is also important there. And the last one is type. So this depends on if it's a parent, if it's a sibling, if it's a partner, if it's a friend. Like they all have different roles and different things that they can offer you psychologically.
Right.
So I think it's really important to be intentional about keeping all of these relationships and making time for these relationships.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And I know one thing that I think Olivia, you or Sai mentioned earlier was something in the area of where like COVID. There was a time where you dealt with loneliness during like when COVID hit. And
right.
One thing I was thinking about, and I'm glad that I remember like right now, is that one thing that kind of impacted, I guess, a lot of people, and it goes back to our podcast, is it disconnected people in general, and it did it in such a way where it created overstimulation by being indoors or in a closed space for so long. And it comes with that excessiveness. Excessively being indoors can create that social isolation and reduces emotional connection. So with that being said, for the listeners, and I think Sai and Olivia will agree with me on this, is that when you're out, one thing was unique about being out is that nature itself boosts your mood, and it gives you, like Sai was mentioned earlier, that just the sun shining on it, it gives you that natural inclination to be happy and to just enjoy life. And even our ancestors, they were out, you know, they had their homes and whatnot, but they were out a lot. They were out in the communities, and you know, walking and spending time, you know, planting and just sticking their hands and everything in the soil and just connecting with Mother Earth. So, you know, being outdoors and around nature can also create within yourself that true connectivity of human connection, and can kind of help get you back into that state of mind that we were all in as a society prior to COVID, because that's one thing that COVID really impacted us on, was just that disconnecting us from one another, which was a natural thing that was, you know, that is inborn within us. And I think that's why the impact was so in depth, because it stripped away our natural inclination, which was to socialize and connect with others. So listeners, make sure you get out and kind of try to rewire your brain by being out more than you are inside.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
One interesting study I also read was by, I think it was Kirsten Weir. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, but she did a study called Nurtured by Nature, and it reiterates exactly what you said. Not only did it improve mental health, because I think there have been other studies that just, like, you know, vitamin D helps, and when you're in nature you have lower cortisol and serotonin, but it also sharpened cognition. I thought that was cool. I just wanted to put that out there. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I love that you guys brought this up, because I was just gonna say this could literally be an entire episode of how important connecting with the nature is.
Yes.
You know, like that's another part of connection I think that we're also missing out on a lot, especially living in, I could go on this for like an hour, but especially living in cities, or, you know, even suburbs, you're not really in nature. You're not really experiencing nature like our ancestors did, maybe even like 100 years ago. So I think it's really important for us to really get out there, not just out in the neighborhood. That's important too. I think that's good for social connection. But in terms of like connecting with the nature, I think going out into the depths of nature and really appreciating that, I think would do a lot for us psychologically. But I would love to talk about this for like an entire episode. So maybe in the future.
We can save it. We can save it.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Well, we hope for the listeners out there that, you know, you loved what you heard today, and we would love your feedback. We would love to connect, and if you are someone who are very interested in these type of topics and conversations, then hey, we will be honored to, you know, maybe get an interview set up, and you can talk about some good things that can be very, you know, helpful in the future.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I hope you all have a good one. I mean, is there anything that, you know, Sai, Olivia, you may want to say for the listeners before we wrap this up?
Oh, I would just reiterate what I said earlier. I really hope that, you know, people tuning in left with something after tuning in. I think that's gonna be one of my biggest goals. And also just, I'd say, don't be afraid to go out there and make those connections.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I would just say you are not alone in how you're feeling. It is a human experience. It is common. And just like Sai and Jeremy have said throughout this episode, you are in control. You know, go out and attend that like fun activity night, or start that hobby, or connect with that previous friend or family member. Like, you're in control. You're not alone. Hope you enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Y'all take care.
Thank you guys for tuning in, supporting us, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.